Memphis is the home of the blues, rock and roll, and Earl Farrell.
From the Collierville Square to the mighty Mississippi, the Earl Farrell for Memphis show is all about good things that happen across the Bluff City and the people who make Memphis cool.
The Earl Farrell for Memphis show is made possible by our title sponsor, Southern Security Federal Credit Union, and by Kathy Thurman Edwards, State Farm Insurance.
By Dive Shop and Dive Ventures nationwide. Jim Karras Chevrolet with George Gully. Napa Cafe Memphis and Glenda Hastings. For Memphis Magazine. The Live at the Garden Concert Series. And the Orpheum Theater Group Memphis. And by Mitch Wright Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, family owned and operated for more than 40 years. Thank you to all the sponsors for making this possible.
And now, coming to you from Lansky Brothers, Clothier to the King, inside the world-famous Peabody Hotel, with the heart of a cowboy and Memphis in his soul. Ladies and gentlemen, here's your host, Earl Farrell.
And thank you very much, and welcome into Lansky's here at the Peabody Hotel. We have a very special guest today. We're honored to have Boo Mitchell in-house.
Happy to be here.
Very successful producer, engineer, recording studio genius, and a really good guy. And then one thing everybody says about you, Boo, is he is the nicest person probably in the business.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
But so many people are that way in Memphis, and that's why I have to have so many people on, because in this town, if you're not nice to people, they avoid you.
Yeah.
We're going to do a little history here.
Okay.
You produced a really good documentary about Royal Studio and the history of it. So I thought we'd begin with that, and then we'll get into the stories after that. But people need to know what an incredible place you go to work to every day and why it's such an important part of Memphis music history. So here's...
Oh, Boo. It's Pyramix.
Pyramix. Y'all come on in.
Guys, I'm so excited to introduce you to the man, the myth, the legend, my dear friend Boo Mitchell, who is the owner of Royal Studios and an amazing producer, engineer, mixer in his own right. And I want to pass it over to Boo now.
Thank you, Matt. Well, welcome, Pyramix. We are in the Royal Studios here in Memphis, Tennessee. Royal is the third oldest continually operated studio in America and the fourth oldest in the world. It's been here since 1957. It was the second commercial studio in Memphis, and how Royal got started is when the famous $1 Million Quartet photo happened, where the night that Elvis, Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, and Jerry Lee Lewis were all at Sun Studios. And when they took that photo that night, Elvis and Johnny Cash told Sam Phillips that they were, leaving Sun and going elsewhere to record and be artists. So when that happened, Elvis's bass player, Bill Black, thought he might do his own thing. There was a producer working under Sam, Quentin Clonch, who would eventually own Gold Wax Records. He wanted to do his own thing too, and an engineer, Ray Harris, they all decided that they wanted to start their own studio. So they got local record shop owner Joe Coogie, who owned Pop Tunes Record Store and all the jukeboxes in Memphis. They got him to buy the Royal Theater in '57, and it started Royal Studios / High Records. The parallel story is the story of Willie Mitchell, my father, who was the inventor of the Memphis soul sound. Pop got out of the Army in the Korean War in 1952, came back home and he wanted a new sound. And he was in everybody knows Al Jackson Jr., the drummer for Booker T and the MGs, but his father, Al Jackson Sr., in the 40s had a big band, and Willie Mitchell was in that band. And Al Jr. would be tagging along, and Pop would always say, man, let little Al play, and Senior never would let him, but one night he got to play, and that had an effect on Pop. So when Pop got home from the war, he went and got Al Jackson Jr. to be his drummer, and my Uncle James on saxophone. So that sound, Pop had the most famous band in Memphis by 1954, and every Memphis musician set in with him. Isaac Hayes, David Porter, Carla Thomas, Rufus Thomas. It was kind of like a rite of passage to be in the Willie Mitchell band. So Pop wanted a new sound, and he started the Memphis Soul sound, which was a few and fat horns and a small rhythm section. And he cut his first record here in '58. And Pop never liked the way his record sounded, and he wanted to engineer, but Ray Harris told him that black people couldn't touch the equipment. So Pop put up with that for a couple of years, has a meeting with Joe Coogee, and Joe's like, sure, Willie, you can engineer. So once Pop started engineering, the sound changed, and he started selling more records. So here's Willie Mitchell's first song recorded here that he didn't engineer. So that song was called The Crawl, and then the first song that Willie Mitchell engineered was So that song is called 2075. So Pop's sound basically changed everything. It even changed the trajectory of Stax and Satellite, because Jim Stewart was a fiddle player, and he was one of the owners of Stax, and his sister had Estelle Axton had a son, Packy Axton, who had a bluegrass band, and they would sneak in underage to clubs where Willie Mitchell was playing, and they came and told their parents, they said, we don't want to play these fiddles anymore. We want to play horns like the Willie Mitchell band. And that bluegrass band became the Marquis. And their first song was Last Night, which sounds a lot like the first Willie Mitchell song that I played. So once Pop started engineering, he started altering the room. You can hear the evolution of the sound of this place. Here's a record that was made a few years later. So that record is called 30, 60, 90, and that's about 1967. 1968, Pop discovered Al Green and brought him to Memphis and started working on music with him. And they cut one record, Al Green's Blues was the first record they recorded. Didn't really sell anything. So they tried again. 1970 rolls around, and a lot of pivotal things happened. Pop had enough money to buy out the engineer, Ray Harris, that told him that he couldn't touch the equipment. Pop told, like, Ray was gathering his things to leave, and Pop goes, I learned a lot from you, Ray. And Ray was like, what's that, Hoss? And Pop goes, never cut a record like you cut it. So Pop became an equal owner of High Records and Royal Studios, and then Joe Coogee passed away in 1970 as well. And in his will, he instructed the other owners that he wanted Willie Mitchell to have complete artistic control and to be the vice president of the company. So that's when Pop kind of perfected the room. He had a engineer wizard. It was like James Bond's Q, named Bill Cantrell, that was one of the owners. And Bill probably built most of the recording studios in Memphis in the 60s. But Pop would tell him what he wanted and Bill would make it happen. So this is when the room got all decked in fiberglass insulation and burlap. And my aunt tells the story of Pop for about 6 months. He would walk around hitting the snare drum. It's like, it ain't right, it ain't right. And finally he got it right. And the first song recorded with the perfected Willie Mitchell configuration was this one. That's the perfected room configuration. And then the next year in 71, he would make one more sonic leap in his engineering, like microphone selection. And this is the year that he discovered Al Green sounded better on mic number 9, which I'll show you in a minute. This is the Everything Perfected song.
I'm so in love with you. Whatever you want to do is all right with me. 'Cause you make.
All right, that was Let's Stay Together, recorded in 71, went number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts in 72. And yeah, I think it dethroned American Pie, was the longest number 1 record at the time. This is the famous microphone number 9. It's a RCA 77DX, and it does sound better than the other ones. I don't know. These things were all handmade around 1950, and whoever made this must have had a good night the night before, because it clearly sounds better than the rest of them. But every Al Green hit was sang on this, from Let's Stay Together, Love and Happiness, Still in Love with You, How Can You Mend a Broken Heart, For the Good Times, all of them.
Amazing. Wow. I bet every time you look at that, though, you sit there and go, it's hard to believe that's part of your heritage.
Actually, the first time I've seen that video, but
Really? Because you're never home.
but it looks cool.
It looks great. And I was very impressed with the sound. And I asked Rob, I said, God, that sounds so good. Is he just holding it up to and he said he's got a clip-on mic, but it sounded great.
I know, you can hear the crazy thing about the sound that Pop created. It's like you can hear it on the cell phone. You can hear it like it's, you don't need any fancy equipment. It's pretty obvious.
I grew up in West Texas, not exactly the birthplace of R&B, but in those days, top 40 records stations played everything. Whoever's on the top charts, they played it. And so when I first started hearing B.B. King and Albert King and Al Green, and I'm going, that's what I like. Wow. And then I went to Texas Tech my freshman year in 1970, and everybody was playing, Booker T and the MGs, Green Onions, Time is Tight, Al Green, B.B. King. And so you go to the dorms, and here's a bunch of white kids all listen to R&B.
Exactly.
And that was that's what Elvis did. He was doing black music and he was a white guy, but he had a black emphasis on because he grew up with blacks.
Exactly.
But it was a totally different sound, and I just like the rhythm of it. I loved the horns, and in fact, when Uptown Funk came out, Ron Olson played it the first time I heard it in Memphis, and I went, "That is a hit."
Wow.
And I said, "Those Memphis horns." And I called him and said, "Where was that recorded?" He goes, "Royal, right here." I said, "Well, there you are."
Wow.
Is that what Bruno Mars wanted? Was that Memphis sound?
Man, it was really so that record was really Mark Ronson's record, and Bruno was featured on it. So, I knew Bruno, I knew about Memphis, but I didn't know how much he knew about Royal. But after working on Uptown Funk there, we've done like lots of additional things for Mr. Mars.
Well, he apparently really liked you and loved recording and being in Memphis. And then since then, you have a hit like that, everybody wants to say, I got to get in line. And ever since we moved downtown to Lansing, I said, I want to get Boo on the show. And you just about haven't been in Memphis, or you're in, but you're recording. So you've been very, very busy since Uptown.
It's been a busy, definitely this year has been probably one of the busiest years of my life with travel and just projects and stuff. But I got no complaints. Just keep making music.
Did you first get into music when your dad Willie Mitchell did you grow up hanging around the studio?
Oh yeah. I had a very I guess abnormal childhood that I didn't realize was
Where you were?
abnormal until I got older, because it was just, when you don't, if that's all it'd be like Temptations at the House, Al Green, Doobie Brothers, just around all these amazing people.
Those are just your dad's business people and friends.
Yeah, Pop would take. Do you remember Morrison's Cafeteria?
We had the Morrisons.
Someone's in the kitchen at Morrison's cooking the food like home. So when the Doobies would come to town, I was always glad to see them. I was like, oh, those dudes with the bell bottoms and long hair. We're going to Morrison's.
Get to eat out tonight. Well, and then you mentioned the Morrisons. The Morrisons were on a number of Al Green's, the Morris family. I know he's talking about the restaurant, but it reminded me also that the Morrises who we had on at Graceland during Elvis Week did backup for a lot of Al Green songs.
Oh, that was the Rhodes Chalmers and Rhodes, the Rhodes sisters.
Yes,
yeah.
And in fact, they've been at the Memphis Music Awards here.
Oh my God, they are so amazing.
But there's so many people that have come through there and touched there. You just look at Johnny Cash and the $1 Million Quartet and think of just the incredible talent that has been through. And what I think is also interesting is, well, you were doing great stuff at Royal. They were doing great stuff at Sun Records, at Stax, American, all these people. And I think somebody ought to do a film on a timeline thing. It says just cutting from one studio to the next.
Oh, my God, yeah. It was amazing. And a lot of the musicians were going from studio to studio. So Willie Mitchell started this sound, and his first a lot of his first band and rhythm section got kind of jacked by Stax Records. When Stax finally opened his studio, Willie Mitchell's band was like the house band.
Well, Booker T and the MGs were the house band at Stax, right?
Well, before Booker T. So Booker was in high school back in 58 and 59. This was like 60 and 60.
Okay.
Yeah, 1960, it was Louis Steinberg, Al Jackson Jr. Eventually, Booker came and became, it was probably around 62, though. But Pop had to find another bass player, so he got Leroy Hodges, who was 17 at the time. And then Pop's first guitar player was Reggie Young, who also played for Bill Black. But when Chips Moman opened American Studios, he lost Reggie Young to American. So Leroy Hodges had a brother, Teeny. Teeny Hodges was probably 16 or 17, started playing with the Willie Mitchell Band.
Wow.
And eventually Charles Hodges was the last brother. I think that was around '67, and so that's really where the high rhythm section comes from. The Hodges brothers, the band that's playing on all the Al Green and Ann Peoples records. They, Pop kept losing people, so
It's almost like the portal now in college football, man. I'm out of here. They go to the
Exactly.
highest bidder.
yeah.
The whole history of Memphis music, they call it the birthplace of the blues. It might have been the birth of it, but it really was R&B that made an impression on the world. Well, Elvis and then R&B, because they were all kind of happening at the same time. But I talked to the Barkays, and they tell me they go to Europe and places, it said there's 20,000 people at the airport.
Waiting on them.
And it's around the world, and everybody knows that in Europe, and people that come in here, they know the history of Memphis music better than people in
better
Memphis.
than we do a lot of times. It is so much history in all the studios. Like Pop made records at Stax and American and Sun, and all the musicians, especially the horn players, went from studio to studio playing on records. And Pop did that a lot, probably up until about 69 or 70. But Memphis, we're a small town, and we're a town of individualistic thinking people and not copycat people. So the sound that was created here was because nobody was really we didn't make our music to cater to anybody. We just did what we felt, and we had an amazing musical ecosystem in those days. And I mean, we still do. It's coming back with more live players. The kids coming out of the Stax Music Academy is doing good.
Fantastic, yeah.
There's a lot of youth programs and music in colleges like U of M and Rhodes and
Well, David Porter has his young people that he's bringing along
exactly
too.
with the consortium.
Yeah.
So Memphis music is not going anywhere.
There's so many people that talk about Nashville. Nashville's so hot, and this is where it's at. And all the people I know in the music.
I just left there, and last night a guy was like, "You're from Memphis."
What is Memphis, Nashville to you like compared to the old days? I mean, because Elvis recorded in Nashville, Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, well, Nashville had the business infrastructure. So Memphis was the original place where the talent and stuff was, and the creators and stuff. Nashville became big because of BMI. So BMI is Broadcast Music. It's a performing rights organization. They collect money for radio play for
From every bar, restaurant out
every
there.
bar,
Yeah, they got
for songwriters and publishers. So basically, BMI was the second performing rights organization. ASCAP was the first one. Now, ASCAP wouldn't sign black writers and publishers, and the broadcasters got together and said, "Hey, we're playing all this music. It's not all ASCAP music." So the broadcasters literally got together and started BMI, and because it was anchored in Nashville, it drew. My dad did business with BMI. You had all these records made down, all these labels, Stax, High Records, Sun. So a lot, BMI drew publishers and songwriters. And then who needs songs? Record labels and artists. So then the record labels came. So, Nashville's infrastructure is, I really think it's hinged on, the fact that BMI was there. And it's, it's 2 hours, it's 3 hours for Memphis, 3 hours for Muscle Shoals. And it was just, it was a lot of
Back and
music
forth.
happening.
Well, it was Big Triangle.
Oh, yeah.
Just kind of
Americana.
around the horn. But I hear so many people say now that Nashville was what was going on, or these Formula Records. and supposedly it's country, but it's progressive country. And now the bands don't even wear cowboy hats. You know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's some people still making, I think, real records in Nashville, but there's the cookie cutter, homogenized stuff that kind of happens everywhere, and people analyze songs and say, oh, well, this hit record had a 4-bar intro. We don't make records like that.
I think there's a magic that takes place.
It's got to be. God is in the room when the magic happens. That's what I call it anyway. But you can feel it. Something is different, and normally everybody feels it.
Well, I was watching you during the documentary we're looking at, and when they played Let's Stay Together, you started smiling. And you smile at that music. You hear it wherever you are, in your car, or some cover band does one of those songs, and you go, oh, yeah, and the whole place gets up and it goes to dance. Because it affects everybody like that, and that is a magic.
Yep, it is.
When your dad met Al, how did that happen?
Al was, for some reason, this is the weirdest story. So Pop had a show in Midland, Texas.
Right next to Odessa, where I grew up.
So Al Green was stranded in Midland, Texas.
Not
and
a good place to be stranded in.
I'm like, Pop, what the hell is going on in Midland? So Al had one record out called Backup Train that he had recorded in Grand Rapids, Michigan on another Northern Soul label. So he heard Willie Mitchell was coming, and this is at the height of Pop's instrumental career. He's got Soul Serenade that's on the Billboard charts, and he's doing shows in Disneyland and all these places. So Al gets in touch with Pop, and it's like, hey, Mr. Mitchell, I'm an up-and-coming singer. I've got one record out. My name is Al Green. And Pop was like, oh, you got that Backup Train record out. And apparently Pop said, man, I don't really like that record. Al was like, can I open your show to get some money to get back to Michigan?
Get the hell out of town.
Yeah, and Pop was like, sure. So the band learns Al's music, and they go to Texas, and Al opens the show. Pop sits in the audience, and after Al gets done singing, Pop says to him, man, you got a great voice. If you come back to Memphis with me, I can make you a star in 18 months.
Wow.
And I think Al's initial response was, that's too long.
I can't wait that long. I need money now.
So Pop says, okay. Pop does his show, and then after his show, I think some of the band was, trying to get Al to go back. Everybody except Teeny. I don't think Teeny really liked him at the point. But so Al, he gets on the bus and goes back to Memphis, and it was literally about 18 months when they got their first hit with Tired of Being Alone.
Amazing. What did your dad hear in his voice? Just the range that he had, the incredible range, the sweetness.
Man, I
of
think
it?
it was just the energy, and he saw some kind of potential in him.
He must have had an incredible ear. I love the story about it, walking around with a snare drum and tapping it and going, it's not right, it's not right.
His ear was so strong, he used to say, I can hear a rat pee on cotton. Is it legal? Sorry, we're not going to get in trouble.
I think they'll let it slide. There's so much else out there that's always worse. The history there is really cool. Ron Olson told me this story today. He said that the Beatles actually came to Memphis before they performed here.
Yeah,
and
64.
And spent a week at Royal Studio rehearsing.
Yes.
And after they left, before they left, they signed the wall somewhere in Royal Studio. Is that true?
Yes. So the Beatles rehearsed in 1964 on their first North American tour because the Bill Black Combo was their opening act. And they did sign the wall in the green hallway where the gold records are. And when Pop was getting the place painted in the late 80s, I think I was about 17, Pop says to me, hey, Boo, go tell that old man don't paint over them boys' signatures. and them boys were
With
Beatles,
the Beatles,
right?
all 4 of them, yeah.
It was too late. So, I mean, another thing happened when the Beatles rehearsed too. Apparently, John Lennon there was an interview, and they were like, "You going to America, blah blah blah, and it's the home of Elvis. What do you think of Elvis?" And apparently, he said, "I wish Elvis would start making music again instead of these movies he's making." So, I don't think Elvis liked it too much. Elvis's favorite hangout was the Manhattan Club, which was right around the corner from Royal, up at Bellevue and Kerr. And so Elvis apparently got wind that the Beatles were at Royal rehearsing, and comes around with his boys on a motorcycle and comes in the studio, and during rehearsal pulls out his pistol and fires it in the air. And apparently everybody was pretty scared stiff, and I think the only one that said anything to him was Pop, because him and Pop were friends. Pop used to play his parties and stuff. Pop, whatever the 1964 version of, "Dude, what the hell are you doing? Put that up and get out of here." It's probably a little stronger than that, FCC.
Well, Elvis was not good at taking criticism, and I don't think that was really necessarily a bad thing to say to him, because what I think John was saying was, we love your music, your talent,
Right.
and why don't you spend more on that and entertain us and do some great stuff instead of making girls. I think Elvis was having fun with girls.
Probably having fun.
There's another story, I don't know if you're familiar with this one, where the Beatles actually flew into Walnut Ridge, Arkansas. Their manager evidently had access or owned some land in Missouri, and the plane they flew out of L.A. on, there was an airport large enough for them to land anywhere around this ranch, so they landed in Walnut Ridge.
Oh, wow.
Which is on the east side of Arkansas.
Oh.
And somehow word got out, and they were keeping on the QT. They said, "Don't tell anybody." Well, you say that in a small town.
Everybody's told.
They land. There were like 20,000 people at this abandoned airport strip that they landed. Now they go to Missouri, and I've seen video of them there. And every year, Walnut Ridge has a big celebration on the anniversary of them landing in Walnut Ridge.
Wow.
So there's a lot more about the Beatles in Memphis in this area, including their appearance here, where that was the last live show they did because somebody popped off a cherry bomb in there.
Yep.
They probably thought it was Elvis.
Might have been. Where was Elvis? Come to think.
Where's Elvis? Is he around here?
What was?
So there's it's just so much of the history in the people, and I was so fortunate to met so many of them. You're talking about Isaac Hayes, Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Carl Perkins, one of the nicest human beings I ever met.
Yeah,
just
sweet,
incredible.
Sweet guy.
You were born in Israel.
No, I was born
Europe.
in Memphis.
Okay.
I just went to Israel. I just got back from Israel.
Yeah. And
Again, I've been there 2 times.
well, that's not like being born there, though.
It's not like
because I
being born
noticed
there.
your Star of David that you're wearing.
Oh yeah.
And how was Israel?
Israel was great. I went for the second time the most recent time I went a couple of weeks ago. They have a showcase festival for Israeli artists. So the people at the festival, they bring tour operators, producers, and just festival people from probably from 40 countries to hear Israeli talent. And I went to check out the music scene and really saw some amazing talent that's coming to America, coming to Memphis to work with me in February, actually.
Great. Some of the artists you worked with, Bobby Blue Bland.
Yes. I was fortunate enough to record his last recording, actually. Yeah.
In fact, he was living right in the same neighborhood as Ron Olson. He goes,
Oh,
Bobby
really?
Blue Bland lives there. I said, you're kidding.
Wow.
Keith Richards.
Keith Richards, yes.
Did you know him here, or would you?
I met Keith here in '87. Actually, he cut an album with Steve Jobs, a solo. It may be his first solo album called "Talk Is Cheap," and he wanted Pop to put some horns or something, and then that turned into him being here for about a week. He stayed at the Peabody too.
If you're somebody, you stay at the Peabody.
Okay.
Not the old Holiday Inn on Summer. Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake, I got to Memphis Music Hall of Fame. I can't remember what year it was. It may have been 2017. But Justin was inducted. Sam Moore was inducted. The legendary High Rhythm Section was inducted. It was a lot. It was like an amazing year. And, Justin's people, Jimmy Fallon was here, and Justin Timberlake's people were like, okay, he's going to get this award. He's not singing. And I was like, okay, I got it. And so I'd say to John Doyle, I'm like, okay, I'm going to put Sam Moore last on the show, and if anybody can get Justin up, it's going to be Sam. So Justin gives this amazing speech, the most pro-Memphis speech I've ever heard. I mean, it was just like a tearjerker. And he gets off stage. Sam Moore comes up and is doing his thing. And so me and Sam are on the same wavelength. I'm easing at Justin's table, and everybody in the place is standing up. So I ease up right beside Justin. I was like, hey, man, after that speech, you need to get up there on stage. And as I was saying that, Sam, Justin, get your butt up here. And it's like, and on stage we go. So they've got pictures of me getting Justin on stage. And then once we got him on stage, he didn't want to get off. So there's a picture of me, Justin, and Sam, and we're in a huddle. We're literally going, all right, what's the next song?
Anybody know the words to this one?
You got Steve Jordan on drums, who is John Mayer's producer and the current drummer for the Rolling Stones.
Wow. Every year at those, though, it is amazing. The backup band is just incredible. It was this year.
I think that maybe I was producing those back then. I think I produced one more after that, and then
you got busy.
I got busy.
Well, the reason you got busy was you came up with a huge hit and produced it there, Uptown Funk. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to take a break, hear from our sponsors, and then come back and hear more stories, including how that all happened with Bruno Mars. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dawn Grader, President and CEO of Southern Security Federal Credit Union, here to wish you a very Merry Christmas. As the proud presenting sponsor of the Earl Farrell for Memphis show, we're looking forward to a great 2026 where we talk about all things great about Memphis and the Mid-South.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm so proud to be part of the Earl Farrell for Memphis show, streaming live from Lansky's from the Peabody. We will be showcasing not only Napa Cafe, but some great restaurants around town. We look forward to seeing you.
Hello, Memphis Mid-South. And first, I'd like to thank you for visiting with Earl Farrell Memphis today, and we want to support him just like you do. I'm George Gully, one of the sales managers at Jim Carrey Chevrolet. We've been in business here in Memphis for over 75 years. I've been associated with the company for almost 25. And I'll help you find the right car, truck, or SUV here at not only our Chevy store, but also Buick, GMC, Nissan, Subaru. We can help you find that right car. Keep watching, Earl, and come see me. Thanks so much.
Hi, I'm Kathy Thurman Edwards, State Farm, and I'm so excited to be one of the sponsors for the Earl Farrell from Memphis show, broadcasting live from Lansky's at the Peabody. And I'll tell you all about what we've got going on at our office. Gift cards for quotes. No purchase necessary. I'm better looking than a lizard.
Hi, this is Randy Wright from the Dive Shop and Dive Ventures in Memphis. We've been in Memphis over 64 years teaching people to dive, snorkel, and swim. We'd love to have you come join us and have some fun. We're also a part of the Dive Ventures group with 18 locations across the country, stretched from Phoenix to Vienna, Virginia. Please give us a call. We'll be able to take care of you at 999 South Yates in Memphis, or call us at 901-763-DIVE.
Hi, I'm Brett Batterson, President and CEO of the Orpheum Theater Group in downtown Memphis. We are so pleased with our partnership with the Earl Farrell Show and very happy that he is broadcasting live from Lansky's at the historic Peabody Hotel. We're all here to make Memphis better.
Hi, I'm Mitch Wright.
And I'm his son, Mickey.
And we're the owners of Mitch Wright Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
And proud sponsors of the Earl Farrell from Memphis show.
We're thankful to be part of the Memphis community. We've been in business for 42 years, taking care of people and loving the people of the Mid-South.
And welcome back to Lansky's here at the world-famous Peabody Hotel. In studio with us today is Boo Mitchell, the owner of Royal Studios, son of Willie Mitchell, an incredible artist and producer and musician himself. In fact, I told Boo the other day that his dad used to play at my restaurant bar, Sleep Out Louie's, downtown. And I thought, think we could get him? I said, well, it ain't going to be cheap. I said, I was trying to get people to hang around on Friday nights because everybody would leave after happy hour and go to some place to hear music, live music. I said, that will bring them in. So we used to charge $5, and your dad started playing. They were charging $10 a head to get in, pack the joint. But it was just I pinched myself and I looked back on it and seeing him up there playing the horn, and then I think he had two other band members there, and it was like you move to Memphis, you don't know anybody. A few years later, you got a bar here that's the hottest bar in town, and Willie Mitchell's playing there, and
wow.
But it was just the Green Machine was on Beale Street back in those days, Herman Green, and I got to meet all these people. Who were some of your favorite artists that not just great, but people that were really good people and treated you right?
Man, some of the my favorite people to have worked with. One is Boz Scaggs.
Oh wow!
Really fine human, just the sweetest guy in the
Texas
world.
Boy.
Yeah, he's really good guy. Boz, Melissa Etheridge, Bruno was absolutely amazing. Mark Ronson, as a young producer, I think he actually reminded me of my dad. You know what I mean? Like working with him was the closest thing that working with Willie Mitchell. God, there's so many. There's BJ the Chicago Kid. There's Bobby Rush is, oh my God, one of my all-time favorites. Miss Carla Thomas.
Yeah. Rufus was always.
Oh man, Rufus.
He was more of like a disc jockey when I was here, but then you look back at all the music he did, but he was, everybody that is in the business and lives here in Memphis is very approachable. I mean, it's not like L.A. where they got throngs of people hanging in. And people in Memphis are so cool about it. They just go, hey, Elvis, how's it going, man? I walked out of the studio here when Ringo was here doing the $1 Million Quartet. And people just go, hey, Ringo, like they see him every day.
Right. Isaac Hayes at Whole Foods.
Yeah.
You know.
Isaac, what's happening, man? But that's what's great about Memphis. I mean, Memphis it just kind of takes everybody. If they like you, they'll say hi. If they don't like you, they just won't say anything to you.
Yeah, and Memphis has this, because it's like a town, I think it has a disarming quality for these famous people. It's a comfortable, it's like a chill vibe. I mean, when we were recording Uptown Funk, I'd be like, where's Bruno? It's 4:00 in the afternoon. He's sitting on the steps, on the front steps, and people are just walking by
and talking
I'm like,
to
dude, get in here. Yeah.
We're trying to work here.
Yeah.
I'm going to get into Bruno here in a second, and how he came up with that name, the name Bruno, because that's a good story. But the other part is, how did you come up with Boo? Where did Boo come from?
Oh, I didn't come with it. My aunt nicknamed me Boo. So I was born at Methodist Central, and there was a club. It's like a spinning spherical thing right next door to it. And apparently Little Richard was playing the night I was born. And my grandmother and my aunt Yvonne were at the Little Richard show. So I was born about 3 in the morning. So they left that show, come to the hospital in their sequin dresses. And back in those days, they kept all the babies together behind the glass,
Yeah,
like puppies, you
Yeah,
know, and you
yeah.
go to the one, you like, I want to see
Is
that
that
one.
mine? 'Cause that one's ugly. That can't be mine.
So apparently, my aunt Yvonne says that when she walked to the window, that all the, like, as she approached the window, all the babies were asleep, and when she got to the window, she said, I woke up and started crying and woke all the babies up. So she said I was leading my Boohoo orchestra. So
Oh, wow. Great story.
I've been Boo
Boo
as
ever
long as I've
since.
been Lawrence.
Uptown Funk, the first time I heard it, Ron Olson played it on FM 100. And as soon as I heard the horns chime in, it's after like the first part of this, and then it just popped, and the horns just had that real quick pop.
Oh,
like
yeah.
on your dad's stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, that is a hit. I didn't know it was Bruno. I didn't know it was recorded here.
Oh yeah, they wrote half of it at Royal actually.
And
in that Beatles that hallway where the
with
Beatles signatures.
It's still there. You just can't see it. It's a very famous
Maybe I
room.
should write a song in there.
We should. There's a song there. I mean, the Beatles were here, but when somebody like, did he call you? How did that whole thing come about?
So it started with the producer Mark Ronson was doing a producer album, kind of like Quincy Jones used to do. He'd do these albums, and then his friends or artists would be the vocalist or whatever. So that's what this was, and it was a bit of a concept album. Mark was, I got that gig because Mark was auditioning singers. Him and his producer buddy, Jeff, they decided to rent a car in New Orleans and to drive up the Delta from New Orleans to Chicago to find the next soul singer. So they actually found a girl in Jackson, Mississippi, who's on the album, and that's why that lyric is in Uptown Funk. But anyway, they got to Royal, and I had some people. I didn't really know who they were at the time. I didn't get the names right. I just knew some producers were auditioning singers. So I had some singers in the studio, and when they came in, I was getting their name. I was like, wait, that's the Amy Winehouse dude, and this other guy
Wow.
produces Kanye West. And, Mark really freaked out about Royal and how we still had Al Green's microphone and, the same organ that's been on all the Al Green
Was that
records.
MP3? What do you call it?
Oh, no, it's a B3, Hammond B3.
B3, yeah.
But anyway, we had all, so he freaked out about the artifacts, and he was like, man, we got these people here, we should listen to them sing. So people sang, and afterward, Mark was like, man, I want to make my album here.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. I gave him a card, and a very British-speaking woman called about a couple of days later. Hello, is that Boo? This is Nicola. I'm like, yeah. And 2 weeks later, Mark Ronson shows up with a lot of people for an 11-day session. And that first thing, he had Trombone Shorty, Willie Weeks, Kevin Parker, who's Tame Impala. He had Steve Jordan, two of the Dap Kings, a Pulitzer Prize-winning author, Michael Chabon, that writes all the new Star Trek episodes. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. And he says to me...
Did you have a spectator section in the studio?
Man, it was just like, I was calling people. I was like, dude, I don't know what's going on, but everybody's at my studio.
Yeah. And they're all famous.
And I'm like, I don't know, no records are being made anywhere. So anyway, during that session, Mark casually says, he's like, man, I got a song I want Bruno to come and sing. And I was like, okay. And he plays me the demo to Uptown Funk. And I think they had like maybe a piece of the verse and a piece of a chorus or something. And I was like, that sounds like that's going to be cool. So a few months later, he shows back up with Bruno in tow. And they were really, we had Bruno for 3 days. And the first 2 days, the first day, they were really going through the structure of the song first couple of days, and we were recording, the music, how many verses and what happens here and what happens there. So once they got the structure, Sunday night, they started working on lyrics, and my Aunt Yvonne, who named me, had cooked them this soul food dinner, right? It's a thing we do when an artist has been there for a while. We'll kind of break the ice, meet the family. And Bruno loved the dinner, and he actually got my aunt and my sister and my daughters to sing on another song that's on the album. If you listen to the album, the song that comes on before Uptown Funk, all the ladies in it's called Feel Right. But anyway, they started writing the lyrics to Uptown Funk, and it's Sunday night. Monday morning, Bruno's got a 8 a.m. plane to catch. So about 4 a.m, they run out of booze, right? So it's like, oh, man. Now, this happened Friday, but it was Friday, so I went to Beale Street, got him a bottle. Actually got him a bottle from Jimmy Issues, I think. But Sekisui. But anyway, I'm like, oh, my God, it's got to be some booze in Pop's office.
Yeah.
So Pop had been gone for about 4 years at that point, and I hadn't touched anything in his office. So I go to his office, I open the door, and next to his trustee Grammy Award is a bottle of Four Roses bourbon. This bottle is signed in gold by the distiller.
Wow.
It's like number 8 out of 100 or something. And because Jerry, I don't know if you know Jerry Williams, but he had connected me with the Four Roses people like a couple of years prior or something. And I met the distiller and showed him the studio, and the guy, gave us a bottle. And I just looked at it. I was like, sorry, Pop, take one for the team.
We could use it tonight.
So I get the bottle, and Bruno just happened to be the first dude I got to, and he was in that green hallway and had his cup up on the tape ledge, and he was like, yeah, fill my cup, put some liquor in it.
I was going to ask you where that line came from.
It came from that.
Wow. And pay the check, get the limo. Were all that whole sequence written right here?
Man, a whole lot of that, yeah. The Smoother Than the Fresh Jar, Skippy, Too Hot, Dragon, yeah.
What was your first indication this was a hit?
When I heard it.
You're like me. I said, that's a hit. Is it always that way?
I mean, you never really know. The business is so funny. I mean, because there's a lot of records that, some of my favorite records, but never really that I worked on that made it, they didn't win any Grammys or have huge commercial success, but I love these records. And Uptown Funk was the same thing. I love that record. I was like, man, there's something about this record that's cool. So, I had no idea what would be the single on the album. So after we recorded it, a few months later, that was in May, so probably like late November, I'm driving home 4 a.m, Uptown Funk's on the radio, and I'm like, oh my God, it's the record. And I'm listening to it, and it's kind of before they made a shorter radio edit, and they were playing like the album version, and I was like, oh man, it's too long. They're never going to play it again.
Every once in a while, something happens to your life. You go, this is a milestone in my life.
Oh, yeah.
And in music. So immediately when people started hearing it, was everybody like me?
Man, I think so. It went number 1, and it still didn't hit me, right? Because I'm like, oh, okay, it's number 1. I'm like, well, I've had some number 1s before. And then after about 6 weeks, I'm like, it's still number 1. I'm like, And
that don't happen every day.
I think I played it I was given like a tour or something to University of Memphis students or something. And it was like, what you worked on? And I played it, and I remember their reaction. It scared me. I was like, whoa, because they all started like
dancing?
wiggling and dancing. I was like,
You can't
I was
not.
like, damn, this song might be something going on.
We were all sitting here watching the video. I'm moving. I'm looking over. You're moving. You're playing the guitar. Rob is moving.
It was just one of those, right? It was it's such a good record. You know, it's funny because when Uptown Funk came out, the music business was at its lowest point for like 20 years or something. It was like record sales were at the absolute lowest. And when that record came out, it just changed everything. I mean, it's historical for Memphis because it's the first record made in Memphis to actually win the Record of the Year Grammy. And we haven't had a record even nominated since Shaft.
Wow.
And I believe that was 72. So
it's a big deal.
It's like kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. I'm the only Memphian with a Record of the Year Grammy.
And you think, I'm saying I was just doing it, but I think that's what happens in life. You're sitting there minding your own business, and all of a sudden greatness comes.
Exactly, and you just got to be, you got to be prepared for it, and I think recognize it. But definitely, you have to be, I was prepared.
But the thing is, how old were you when that came out?
Oh God, let me see, 2014. Oh my God, you're gonna make me do complex math.
Carry the
81,
zero.
Hang on. 81, 91, 2001, 11. I was like 40 something.
But you,
47.
Well, I mean, you weren't some young kid that had all this acclaim and
No, I was in my 40s and.
And it wasn't like you'd never been around great artists before, so you had that. Because there's always been this calmness about you, but there never was an ego thing or now I'm great. It's like you said, I did that, now I'm going to do some other stuff.
That's what people, it's funny because Uptown Funk, did the Grammys and all the stuff, and people were like, well, how do you feel like since you've won a Grammy? I was like I need another one?
Maybe a couple more.
I feel like I got to work extra hard now.
But what I'm saying is you were mature. You'd been around a lot of things in the music business. You'd seen people hit one and never do another one.
Right.
But the thing is, because I just turned 75, and one thing I've learned in my life is it's all part of the journey. It's how you react to the good stuff and the bad stuff.
Exactly.
And as you go along, you go, what is next? And so my question to you is, what are you working on now? Because I know you're very busy.
Let me see. Well, we did the Sinners soundtrack. That's been getting a lot of acclaim. I think it's nominated for 5 Grammys.
Wow.
Maybe 6.
That'd fill your quota.
Right. Fill everybody's quota. So just finished that. I've been working on some music stuff with the High Rhythm Section and Carla Thomas.
Wow.
Up and coming artist Lena Beach, Rhodes College graduate. She's got some amazing music. I've been working on some stuff with Morgan Freeman because he has this he has a show called The Symphonic Blues where he pairs traditional Delta blues with symphonic music, and it's like a whole stage.
Wow.
There's a tour. They've done like 25 shows this year, but we're actually working on an album with that same concept. And what else?
What else
I
you
think
got
that's
going?
it for
Anything going?
January.
Anything going? Well, I'm so glad you came on because people always want to know what people are really like.
Oh, wow. Thank
and
you.
I think I wanted them to see what you're really like, and because I see it. And, a lot of people, when you go places, one thing I like about Hal and Julie here is they treat everybody the same. They treat you exactly the same way somebody from Great Britain they don't know.
Absolutely.
And then you're also very cordial and polite to everybody that comes up and says hi to you. You appreciate that. I mean,
Well, thank you. It's if I wasn't, my grandmother would slap me from outer space.
you know, Elvis was that way. He would stop and sign autographs, and he wouldn't just say Elvis Presley. He would say, "Great meeting at the gates of Graceland."
Wow.
And I love that pretty sweater you had on that day. And he would do that to everybody, which is why he got the trike bike, because he didn't have to keep his hands on the throttle, and he could sign autographs and still sit down, not have to lean back and forth.
Right.
And I think hospitality is a great thing about Memphis. Your grandmother taught you how to be right with people.
Exactly.
And not put up with people who aren't right.
Exactly.
Just
it's the Memphis way.
This is important. Well, I do appreciate you coming in and spending some time with us, and wish you much success on the future projects. But, you know, talent always rises.
Wow.
You cannot stop it.
Earl, I appreciate you having me. You're a Memphis legend. So just to be here is a huge honor for me. Thank you.
We'll do it again. We congratulate you on your new Grammys, okay?
Our fingers crossed.
All right. Oh, man. Boo Mitchell. Boo Mitchell. That's our show for today, and it's going to be a hard one to beat. So check it out and tell your friends to check it out. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.